Have you ever felt like you spent too much money on a vacation? Well, cruise lines make it really easy to overspend and very hard to find the discounts. These 9 tricks are not advertised, but they save me hundreds of dollars every time I cruise. I'm Gary with Optimal Cruising, bringing you fresh cruise advice, money-saving hacks, and secret strategies the cruise lines don't advertise. Now let me show you what they're not telling you. Every time I book a cruise, I always do 2 things to ensure I get the best deal. The first thing is I always check the price on multiple sites. So I'm checking the price directly with the cruise line and with a couple different travel agencies or cruise agencies. This ensures that I'm getting the best deal because sometimes the best price will be offered directly from the cruise line, and other times I've found better deals purchasing the cruise through an agency. And then you need to check these prices over a period of time. I suggest 2 weeks. That's usually a long enough cycle for cruise lines to go through the regular sales that they put on and take off to try and entice people to book. So if you're only looking on a given day and you're ready to book now and you don't check around over the next week or 2, you might be booking at a time where they're not offering their best deals. And next week, they might throw a promotion on there to try and increase bookings. And had you waited a week, you might save $100 a person, $200 a person. I mean, it adds up. And that relates to the second thing that I always do, which is after I have booked my cruise, I still continue to monitor the price, especially if holidays or big promotions come around. When I see they're having a Black Friday sale or a 4th of July sale or whatever it is, I get on there and check my cruise. If the price has gone down, I give them a phone call, and almost every time it works, they will give you the better deal because they will match what they're offering now. In many cases, this strategy can save you hundreds of dollars a person. And this next strategy will put even more money in your pocket. A friend of mine recently went on a cruise on MSC, and he tried to bring a bottle of wine on board, and they said no. They confiscated that from him. And MSC is one of those cruise lines where you can't bring any drinks on board. But many cruise lines, including Royal Caribbean, still allow this. So it's important to check with your cruise line ahead of time, because where it's allowed, you can save hundreds of dollars by not buying these things on board. So some of the big things that are frequently allowed by major cruise lines are cans of soda, and in many cases, people bring on a whole 12-pack of soda. Okay, that might not seem like a big expense, but at $4 a can on board, it adds up, and you can bring 1 of those per person. And then in some cases, you can bring 1 or 2 bottles of wine or champagne per person. That'll save you quite a bit of money if you're paying per glass on board. So check with your cruise line, find out what's allowed, and take advantage of it. Bringing drinks on board isn't the only thing you can take control of to keep some more money in your pocket. On a recent cruise, I saved $100 per person by booking shore excursions on my own instead of directly with the cruise line. And this was a big savings, but 30 to 40% is very common. And why spend that extra money and just hand it over to the cruise line? I'm going to show you the example here. In this case, I was on a cruise that stopped in Livorno, Italy. Pisa is also another attraction there, so I wanted to see the Leaning Tower. So I checked with the cruise line excursions. They wanted to charge me about $135 a person for a 4-hour excursion to see the tower and look around the area. I found the exact same excursion on Viator.com for $35 per person. These are the kind of savings you can realize if you book independent shore excursions. Now, if you're worried about the ship leaving, that almost never happens. These excursion companies will get you back on time. And for a 4-hour excursion, when your ship's gonna be in port for 8 or 9 hours, you're not even cutting it close. And that savings can be huge if you add it up over several ports of call. We have some links to Viator and some other shore excursion companies in our description if you want to check them out, but I highly recommend doing some of your own research instead of just booking directly with the cruise line, and you really could save a ton of money on your next cruise. Cruise lines try to force passengers into spending extra money on shore excursions by putting that fear of maybe missing your ship in your head. But they really hate it when cruisers do this next thing. I have a good friend that cruises a lot, and he taught me this little trick which seems to work well for him. Now, this isn't going to save you hundreds of dollars, but it's going to put some more money in your pocket if you are usually one who buys Wi-Fi on a cruise line. Now, yes, we like to stay connected, and a lot of people do. That's the world today. But what my friend did to avoid paying $20, $25 a day in Wi-Fi expenses to the cruise line is he bought an eSIM card that was good at the ports of call where his cruise ship was traveling. So he was doing a Western Caribbean trip, and they were stopping in a couple ports in Mexico and then a private island. Well, during his cruise, he was near the coast of Mexico for a good part of it, in port for 2 full days, and he had full Wi-Fi, internet access, and data for a fraction of what he would have had to pay the cruise line. And he had it for a good part of his cruise, at least long enough to stay in touch. And he was really only out of touch for 2 sea days during the cruise. You can buy eSIM cards for very cheap. They work with most modern phones, and they'll connect when you're in that country, and you'll be on their system, and you might pay between $5 and $20 for one of these, and it'll last you your whole trip instead of paying $20, $25 a day for cruise ship Wi-Fi. And if you save a little money on the ship's Wi-Fi, you might want to use it to take advantage of this next tip. Okay, so now this one might cost you a few dollars, but trust me, it'll be worth it. On embarkation day, the busiest, most crowded, most difficult place to get around on the ship is the buffet, because everybody's getting on board and their first thought is, let me get some free food, let me check the food out. They all head to the buffet, which is the main venue open. But did you know that there's always gonna be at least one specialty restaurant option open, which will virtually be empty for lunch on embarkation day? You can walk right in, get a seat. You have to pay the cover charge, but it's a lunch, so it's cheaper than eating dinner at a specialty restaurant. So you're saving a little money there and still getting to enjoy the specialty upgraded dining option, and you'll have a much smoother, much more enjoyable lunch on embarkation day. But there really is one thing you should do before embarkation day if you want to keep some more cash in your pocket. I'm going to get right to that. But first, I want to know what your favorite thing to do is on embarkation day. Put it in the comments below. I always tell people, any package you're going to book, whether it be a drink package, a dining package, a spa package, whatever it is, pre-book it. Not too long ago, I was talking about this subject with a cruiser, and he told me, everybody knows this. But I'm not so sure, and especially new cruisers may not. You want to book any packages before you get on your cruise because you're going to be saving between 15 and 35, sometimes even 40% on these packages. This includes the Wi-Fi package if you're going to go for that. All these packages are discounted ahead of time, and once you get on the ship, you'll be paying more. Now, one reason a lot of people tell me that they didn't book the package ahead of time is because they didn't know if they wanted it. Then they got on board, they saw everybody having a great time and thought, yeah, I really do want that drink package. And so they paid a lot more for it. A little planning goes a long way. But if you didn't book a package and you still want to use onboard services, this next trick can save you 30%. I have a good friend that I cruise with a lot, and every time I'm on a cruise with him, he and his wife book a spa treatment at least once during the cruise. Sometimes he'll book it on a sea day, but he discovered that booking these treatments during a port of call saves them a lot of money. And now that's what they always do. And it's true, cruise lines give bigger discounts on things like treatments in the spa when the ship is at a port because they know that a lot of people, in fact, most people are getting off the ship and they're not thinking of using the spa. Yet the spa still has all the staff there with nothing to do. So they start offering discounts, hoping to get some increase in business. Now, this next tip could save you the entire cost of your cruise vacation. But first, if I've saved you even a few dollars so far, make sure you subscribe to our channel and get all of our cruising updates. I've been fortunate enough to take several cruises at a cruise port near where I live. So I don't worry about how to get to the port. I'm just going to drive and pay to leave my car there. But many cruisers have to fly in. And this tip could save you your entire vacation because I still am amazed at how many people try to fly in on the day of their cruise. That's a mistake with all that goes on in the world these days because flights get delayed for more reasons than ever. It could be something as silly as a computer outage that causes your flight to be delayed 6 hours or more. And that could cause you to miss your ship and you're out all of your vacation money. If I have to spend $150 on a hotel, that's a great premium for an insurance policy that I'm not going to miss my cruise. And most of these hotels near popular cruise ports have free shuttles. They'll pick you up at the airport and they'll take you to the cruise terminal at no charge. So if you're flying into the airport on the day of, and then you have an expense of a taxi or an Uber to the cruise port, I mean, why not just take that money and put it towards a hotel, get there the day before, and relax. Start your vacation a day early. While the most important thing is making it onto your cruise, if you're even thinking of stepping foot in the cruise ship casino, you have to hear this last tip. I'm not a huge gambler, but several cruisers who are tell me that it's fairly easy to get free perks by gambling in your cruise ship casino. However, you can't get any perks if they're not tracking you. If you just go by what the cruise ships publish about their casino reward programs, you might think that they don't offer a whole bunch or that it takes a lot of play to get to those rewards. But people who actually play tell me that it doesn't necessarily, and it kind of depends on the cruise you're on, how many people are gambling, and what kind of free cruise itinerary they have available. And in some cases, you could play $500 to $1,000 and get a free cruise. So keep that in mind if you are a gambler. Make sure that you sign up for your cruise line's casino promotion program so that they are tracking everything you play and use your card at all the machines and at all table games so that everything you're playing is being monitored and you have a better chance of getting offered perks even if you don't meet criteria that are listed in the cruise line perk programs. So now that you're ready to save a bunch of money on your next cruise, there are some pretty interesting adult-only things going on cruise ships right now. If you're interested, I'll tell you all about those right here.